Hi, my name is John Ferrara, and I'm super excited to be here with you and Ross Keating today to talk about how to create repeat profitable customers. I think it's every business owner's dream is to create a gold mine. I like to joke a little bit, but it's true. Any business that's making money hand over fist, that people are just lining up at the door and they bring their friends with them, that is a gold mine, and it's one of the reasons why we named Goldmine back in the day, the pioneer of CRM, that name, because it's something we all dream about. There's a hot dog stand in my town called Pink's. There's a hamburger stand in my town called In-N-Out Burger. You've all heard about McDonald's. How do they do it? How do they get people to pick up the phone and call them and drag their friends with them? This is what we're going to talk about today. And to do that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce a dear friend of mine, Ross Keating. Ross and I have been working together to help other people succeed for years, and he really is a specialist in business strategy, CRM, in helping other people implement technology and to scale it within their organizations. Ross, say hi to the audience for us.
Yeah, good morning, John, and good morning, everybody there. Thank you for getting online the afternoon or the morning, depending on which side of the date line you're on. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, Ross, tell us something that we don't know about you from your bio. If we were to go and check and Nimble you, what's something that we couldn't find? What's something unique about you?
you'd probably not find that I used to love hiking in the mountains and doing whitewater rafting. I love whitewater rafting, adrenaline type activities, and that I used to be a truck driver. I used to drive a truck with a 20-foot tray and a 23-foot trailer on behind, and I was king of the road. So you won't find that too
Yeah,
much online.
my brother drove trucks for a long time. It's a lonely life out there on the road, but I do want to tune in to the idea that you love the mountains. This is one of the things we're going to talk about today is how do you build intimacy and trust with another human being? When you meet another person, the first thing they determine about you is they judge whether you are capable and whether you're trustworthy. And trust is earned. Intimacy and trust can be earned, and you earn that by sharing areas of commonality in order to bond with that person. And that's one of the reasons why I talked about this with you. I asked you about something that we don't know because it's our job to know who somebody is before we ever engage with them and what their business is about so that we might be able to figure out how to help them become better, smarter, faster. And the fact that you and I share a love of the outdoors is something that I think we'll be able to stay connected on for some time. What do you think, Ross?
Yeah, it is, and I follow some of your photographs online, and you certainly like to go hiking in some fairly high places.
Yeah, I certainly do. And for those of you that don't know me, I feel like sometimes I'm the Don Quixote of relationship management. I've been saying the same thing all my life, that relationships matter and that we're here on this planet to help to grow our souls and help other people grow theirs. And I believe that service is the new sales. And so I love any opportunity where I can inspire and educate others about how they can become better, smarter, faster. I think if you teach people to fish, they'll figure out you sell fishing poles. And that's why I build relationship management solutions. But what I prefer to do is talk about how you can become better, smarter, faster, and achieve your dream. So Ross, let's get into the agenda. I'm going to pass you the ball, and you go ahead and knock us out.
Okay, thanks, John, and let's get into it. Just want to give you a bit of an idea, folks, just what we're going to go through today. And we're doing a bit of the intro now, and then we're going to look at the why social selling and why CRM. And we get so focused on doing the how and the doing, we forget the why. And if we don't have a why, we should do anything, then we end up running around in circles. So it's really important to understand why social selling and customer relationship management, CRM, is so important to us in business today, and the internet is doing that. So we'll be going through that. And John's highlighted already the importance of relationships, but we're going to have a look and explore some of those things about relationships. And then I'd like John, if he's up for it, to do the things that he's really passionate about and show us how you can be online and where you can go online to follow up those connections that you do make, because we make connections but we don't often follow up. And then he's got the follow through on those connections and how you can use technology to do that. And we're with Nimble, so we will be having a look at some of the features of Nimble that relate to this. We're not going to do a step-by-step goal for you. So from that point of view, then we'll do a bit of a wrap-up, and we'll do a quick Q&A towards the end. So let's keep on going, and we'll go on to the next slide now. Why change? Well, I come from a background where you used to, and when I started out in consulting, had to pick up the phone and call the Yellow Pages. Anybody in the Yellow Pages was fair game. Buy a list for $1,000 from Dun & Bradstreet. Who's done that? John, did you used to do that?
Oh yeah, I used to use all kinds of intelligence that I could get, Dun and Bradstreet, Hoover's. But you know what I find? I find that you could learn a lot just by going to somebody's office, looking at their walls, the books they read, the degree of the schools they work, the degree of the schools they went to, the knickknacks they collect. But certainly Hoover's and D&B were good tools for business research.
But when we're making those calls, I mean, I used to do, and these stats are really good. You make 35 dials, you might make 20 connections, and if you're really, really good at making a cold appointment, you might get 7 appointments out of it. And then you got to get sales from the appointments. And people don't know you. They're taking you on face value. Do they like your voice? All those things. So that ratio there that doesn't even get down to dollars at that point. And it's a really inefficient way. And research, which is coming out of the White House Office of Consumer Affairs, and thank you to the US government for helping us with research, that it costs a new customer costs 6 to 7 times more than it does to make a sale to an existing customer. So would you rather spend 6 to 7 times more than what you're spending now? I find an average, when I've looked at my clients, it can cost anywhere between, at best, $5 or $7 a lead to somewhere around about $20 to $60 per lead to get in front of that customer. And if you make a sale off one of those, you'd have to be making one every time to make sure it's only $60 a sale. So it's really expensive.
Ross, I absolutely agree with you that it's cheaper to keep them than it is to go find a new one. And I think many businesses ignore their existing customers. They forget about them, and often tell any business owner to import your accounting system into Nimble. Import those contacts into Nimble, because Nimble will be able to enrich those contacts with people and company data, and then you'll be able to do some really cool sorts on the last time you sold somebody something, last time you contacted them, and just simply reaching out to your existing customer base on a regular basis is so critical to getting retention and referral. I agree. Yeah,
and keeping them's hard. Just by, you'll see this on the slide here coming up right now, is that research shows that 20% of your customers will leave you regardless of what you do. And I was talking to a business yesterday, and they were saying the same thing. Their people die, they stop using the service, they leave town, they no longer need that service because their lifestyle stage has changed. They don't have babies anymore. They don't have children at home. John, you just might want to click the mouse there for me. It should bring up the slides. And there's one part there that the next click there is going to show 67% of people who leave a business do so because of perceived indifference. They don't know whether you love them or not. And you can change that. You can't change those who are changing lifestyle. But John, would you say that you can change that perceived indifference?
Well, I think that we learned everything we need to know about taking care of customers in the schoolyard, in kindergarten, in grammar school. And how many times did you feel like somebody just isn't paying you attention anymore and you just move on in the relationship? And so if you want to know how customers are going to behave, just imagine how people behaved all your life. You know as a human being what it takes to maintain a relationship, and it simply means to pay attention, not calling them for orders, but calling them to check in about how you might help them grow, because you don't want to be a salesperson to your prospects and customers. You want to be a trusted advisor.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why I say, show them the love, show customers the love, and they will keep on coming back. And I have some good stories from that, but we've got to keep moving. I don't want to make sure we don't get behind time here. Um, and one thing we get carried away sometimes and excited about doing marketing campaigns and advertising and doing all those things, but we forget that prospects do become customers, and that's the goal. It's really hard to do that, but customers are always prospects for you. That's one of my beliefs, and I talk to businesses about that all the time. Your customers are always a prospect and you have to define what is an existing customer and what is a past customer, and that's one thing that's a topic in its own right. What defines a past customer compared to what is an existing customer? If you have a life cycle, a purchase cycle of once every 2 years, so is that person a past customer? Are they in contact with you, or do you have to really re-engage them again, like a mortgage broker? So think about that. Your customers are always prospects. And why do you want to focus on those customers? John, this has really shocked me when I heard it, and this will apply differently to different industries and different businesses, and it's a broad thing, and I would use up to. But we know that if I go and buy from a shop or a business, the research is saying they are up to 27% more likely to buy from that business again. If they buy a second time, they're 45% more likely to buy again. And if they buy 3 or more times, they're 54% more likely. I mean, that to me, that's an exciting. As a salesperson, John, would you get excited if somebody gave you a lead and said they're 54% more likely or 27% more likely to buy again?
Well, I mean, I just use yourself as an example, or myself, right? I mean, I love Apple products so much that I research them months before they come out, and then the day they come out, sometimes I go camping in front of the store just to get them. So I think the number is more like 99% for me.
There you go. They show you the love, and they get you there. I like to be connected to the real world, to 70% of the people, not 30, but I'll leave you with your Mac and Apple products. But the other thing that research found from the Zero report in the state of the consumers in 2015 is 54% of people would pay a bit more for better customer service. Now, folks, I don't know who, you want to put something in the chat box there. Would you pay a little bit more for customer service, or do you go to businesses and put yes if you do that? Do you?
Well, Ross, there's a simple example of that here in the United States. There's a store called Nordstrom's. And
Mm-hmm.
Nordstrom's is the epitome of service. And when you walk into the store, it's beautifully staged, and there's staff, plenty of staff to help you all the time. But they're trained on customer experience. And one of the things that they do that I love is when you buy something and they put it in the bag, and well, first off, they exchange money, then they put it in the bag. They walk around the counter and they hand you the bag every single time. They're trained to do that. And what they're doing is essentially they're connecting with you. They're touching you. They're moving into your space to create that human connection. And, it's not the fact that I'm going to pay more money so that they reach around the counter and hand me my bag, but the fact that there's always somebody to help me. Their facilities are beautifully set up, and they have the best new products. You know what? It costs more to shop at Nordstrom's, and I'll happily shop there just in the same way I just mentioned the Apple products. Apple products cost more than PC products, but I just love the experience of the Apple Store.
Yeah, and that's it. And I was on my blogs on LinkedIn. There's a post about a lingerie store that my wife and I went to. Notice I didn't say just me; it was my wife and I. And the two ladies in there, they were busy. They were serving customers and doing other things. Yet one of them interrupted what she was doing, came over and said, "Look, we'll be with you in just a moment while we serve these people. Is that okay?" And then they actually got all of us engaged in the conversation. So it made it a great experience. And you have to pay more to get the lingerie from that shop than you do from one of the chain stores. But we go back there for that because of that experience with those people. So yeah, you pay a little bit more for good service. And what are they worth? You know, we talk about the why, saying why it's so important. And hopefully these few things here are giving you a bit of an idea of why it's so important to get customer relationship management and think about things in terms of social selling and building relationships. Technology is just a tool. It's your belief that does that. But here is RJ Metrics had a really great thing. 10% of your database, of your customers, will actually spend 3 times more than each of those others in the other 90%. So if you focus on those top buyers, if you're able to segment your database into those who are buying more, that you will get more revenue and you will get more profit because they're easier to convert because they're buying from you as well. So imagine 10% of your database is actually spending 3 times more than somebody that falls into the other 90%. Does that make sense? Have I explained it, John?
Yeah, and I think that you have to explain it in this way to clarify is 10% may be spending more or would be willing to spend more if you simply asked them, if you simply connected with them. And this is why segmenting your database with the right information is so critical for you to be able to reach out to the right person at the right time on the right channel with the right message in order to get that 3 times revenue.
Yeah, and that's, to me, the best approach, as you say, is connecting with them. Create a trusted, authentic relationship over time. It takes time. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen in a week. It's over time. And it depends on what the sales cycle for your business is. Like if you're in real estate, it can take maybe 4 or 5 years before the person is going to buy another house. For a mortgage broker, it might be 18 months to 2 years before they want to review their mortgage or take out another mortgage. So if you do it over time, but if you build that relationship and make it authentic and trusted, then they will only want to do business with you. And I think that's the real thing. So we're talking about here a way of thinking and a way of your business operation, not just something that you go and do without thinking about it and automate it. This can't be automated. You can use automation to help, but this is really a big way of thinking about it and getting your business processes in line. So how do we get more customers? You know, let's have a look at some of the ways that you might do that. And I talk about how to release the more dollars. And I have what I call the 6 steps to increase sales. And we're not going to take you through this today and spend a lot of time on it, but parts of it are, you've got the prospecting. That's one of the things that you've got to do, and you've got to build the relationships before they convert into customers. And when you've got the customers there and they've bought from you, you're going to take the next step and you're going to talk about the retention and make them come back. You want to keep them because you don't want 67% of the people leaving you because you didn't make the effort. And then if you're having a look at the transactions, the transaction value, is there ways that you can increase the transaction value as you go through? Can you cross-sell, upsell? The number of transactions, can you get them to buy from you again? Can you get them to come into your business one more time during the year to buy from you again? For some people, you can't. because it's might be a compliance thing or it's a once a year only, but maybe there's some added value or other services you can offer to do that. And then all these things lead and working as a business process, you can then start looking at your costs and expenses, and that improves your profitability. And that profitability is so important. And if you can reduce your marketing dollars because you're using more effective tools to connect with people like social media and email blasts are still to your database is still so important, and that is where it comes in. So this is where we get this profitability, John, is doing that particular aspect.
Absolutely.
Let's just, and talking about the lists and keeping in contact, you've got a database. A lot of people say, well, where do I have it from? And John, you mentioned before, any resource, your accounting database is the best one to start off one. If you haven't got one now that you're using for marketing. Your business cards, we know that, but put them into a system. I was with a business yesterday, and they've been going since 2004, and they sell, an average sale is somewhere between $3,000 to $40,000. And that, they don't have their customers in a database that they can contact on a regular basis. And when they do contact people, it's very irregular. So you've got social media lists. There are now ways, and John will show you that, how you can access some of the social media lists with Nimble. And you've got your prospect list. People that have said no in the past, they've only said no then. It's never a no, never, until they say, no, never want to do business with you. Got the message. Okay, but everybody else, as long as you treat them with respect and build a relationship, they may change their mind. And suppliers, how can you use your relationship with your suppliers to access other people? Because they must be dealing with other people who might need your service. So think about your suppliers on that one.
You know, Ross, this list of places to start reminds me of a statistics about CRM. It's a sad statistic, but it's true. There's 225 million global businesses. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And less than 1% use any CRM. Most people's CRM is their inbox or a spreadsheet. And in reality, most businesses already have a customer database in their company. It's either an Outlook address book or Google Contacts, which is their email contacts and calendar that they already have in their company, or it's in their accounting or existing customer service program, or businesses use a variety of tools for sales and marketing and customer service and accounting and contact management. And one of the things I love about Nimble is that it'll go in and unify all these contacts from all those disparate places and unify the history of interactions that you and the team were having on email, calendar, and social, enrich it with people and company data, and then let you use it to identify people that matter, outreach, and restart or deepen relationships. So all of these lists are good, but ultimately you need to put them someplace.
That's right, and that's really important. And when you get into someplace, you've got to know your marketing groups. Once in the old days, we used to put out an advertisement and it went to everybody, and it was in the paper, it was in somewhere, and it wasn't very selective. Now, as I mentioned before, we segment them. People online, would you mind just putting a yes if you segment, or no for no, if you don't segment your groups for communications? Just let us know that. It's not a poll, just put something in there, a yes or a no, we'd like to know that. But if you segment those groups down, profile them, we call it by personas, avatars, and again, it's quite in-depth. There are businesses that help, the whole business is creating avatars for businesses. But you can do it quite easily with a few things, gender, location, how much they spend with you, where they live suburb-wise. Are they in a expensive suburb or a lower economic suburb? Are they in a rural area? What products have they purchased in the past, or do people like that purchase from you? How often do they do it? What's their employment status? What roles do they have? These are all things that you can manage within the system. This is why technology now gives us such a great advantage. We can segment the groups down. And I did that with an expo that I was helping organize recently. We were able to segment them down into different groupings so we could make the communications more relevant to them. And when you do that, if you'll have this person that's into customer relationship management and loyalty and retention and databases. And John, if you just click the little button here, hopefully, oh, it didn't come out. There it is. You end up with a person that looks like me. Isn't that a great shot, John? Isn't it?
I love it.
Amazing. But that's how you can actually get quite specific down to individuals, and that's where tools like LinkedIn, you can use this type of thinking to get down to target lists. John, is that something that you do?
Well, I don't outreach directly to prospects and customers, but what I do is I outreach to the influencers because it's too hard to scale to try to target the millions of small businesses around the world, the billions of them, in order to start a conversation. So I believe that if you can identify the key influencer of your core constituency in and around the areas of promise of your product, so for me it's thought leaders in sales and marketing and social media and entrepreneurship, technology, I'll outreach to them and then start a relationship by paying it forward. And the way I identify them is I listen in the various streams of the places people are having conversation. I find people that resonate with me, that inspire and educate me about the areas of promise of my product. And so I use a variety of tools to do that, including Nimble.
Yeah, okay. And we're going to get onto that really shortly. If you just look at social selling, what is social selling? Once we used to have a control. We put the advertisements in magazines, TV, radio, and then our brochures, and we'd have salespeople go out. It was all very one way, push, push. The internet has changed all that. Now research shows that they're 67% more likely to have, or 66, I'll say that again, 67% through the decision-making process when they contact a business or making a complex decision-making domestic one about products. They will contact, they've done their decision-making, they're in the final stages when they make contact with you, and they've been searching online, and it's a two-way street. You have to be out there when they get in contact with you. And that's is a really important part of what we're trying to do here today, is get you thinking about those activities. And they're everywhere. Where do you have to be? On that slide that's coming up, it's going to have marketing. You've got the sales team. The people are out there, and you have to be where they are, even though you don't know where they are. John, you've done that because of your marketing. You have to. How do you do that?
Well, the interesting thing about the way that we build the Nimble brand is we don't do any marketing at all, and we have no salespeople at Nimble. What we do is, as I just said earlier, is we identify the influencer of our core prospects and customers in and around the areas of promise of our product. And so what we do is we find thought leaders in sales and marketing and social media and social selling, and we pay that relationship forward by sharing their content over time. And what that does, when we share the content, say from Andy's content is inspirational in and around sales and marketing, and when we share Andy's content, then we attract people who are interested in becoming better at his areas of promise. And so here's an example here. We shared this article by this person, and we hashtagged it Pound Sales, and we listed Julie's name. And what happens then is that attracts people to our website, also attracts conversations with Julie, and then she becomes a Nimble user, Nimble evangelist, and Nimble contributor to our blog. And so without marketing, we're able to generate 80,000 unique visitors per month on our website, and we're converting up to 10% to trial and 20% to paid without salespeople. So there's a lot of ways to reach out to prospects, customers, and ideally their influencers to stand out from the crowd, build your personal brand, build your company brand, and start conversations with your community to drive sales.
Yeah, and that's where this is where the technology comes in, like Nimble. It comes in and it becomes your single source of truth. And it allows you to put your contact details in there. The slide should be coming up any moment. Sorry, I'm a bit slow sometimes. The contact details, you've got your referral sources. You're tracking who they're coming from, the opportunities, the events, the other system information that you might have, your accounting systems, your marketing systems, and your email systems, your e-marketing systems like MailChimp. You want that because you can only manage about 120 relationships. And then if you've got 500 people that you're trying to build relationships to turn them into customers or repeat customers, you need technology to do it efficiently. And this is where...
You just mentioned the Dunbar limit. That's the limit between 100 and 200 contacts that any one person can manage in their head. It was a study done by this English gentleman named Dunbar. And I absolutely agree. There's a limit to what we can do in our human head. And that's why we need machines to help us to build databases and help us to identify people that we need to stay in touch with and help us to reach out in that one-to-one way.
That's right. And it's that reaching out is more about, not about you, it's about them. Showing the love is about connecting with them, educating them, care, content, and you've just shown a great example of that with Julian and that zombie post. And it's a little bit about sales and saying thank you. So often we don't say thank you. Thank you for payment. Thank you for coming in and connecting with me. All those things. And John, I think this is a really good point for you to take it forward now and show how you connect with people and show it's about them and not about us.
You bet. You bet. Thank you. And Ross, that was a great overview of how to stay connected with customers so that you get retention and referral with them. And ultimately, today, I truly believe that your network is your net worth. Your personal brand plus your professional network will help you achieve your passion, plan, and purpose in life. And ideally, that passion, plan, and purpose isn't to make millions of dollars. It's to help other people grow. And I believe the best way to help other people grow is to become their trusted advisor, to set yourself up so you're top of mind with people. And the best way to do that is to teach them to fish. Because I believe if you teach people to fish, they'll figure out you sell fishing poles. And that's why on a daily basis, what I do is I share content to inspire and educate other people about how I might be able to help them become better, smarter, faster. And the best way to do that is to identify content from really smart people. And that's happening all around you on a regular basis. And so if for all the business people who are listening to me today, you've forgotten more about your products and services than your customers will ever know in their lifetime. Imagine if you gave your knowledge away on a daily basis. It's not like your customers are actually going to perform the operations on themselves. They're going to call you when they need you. And so instead of you sending them a quarterly newsletter telling them how great you are or how great your products are, you send them drips of information on a daily basis that inspires and educates them about how you can help them become better, smarter, faster. I call it the 5 E's of social business. Educate, enchant, engage, embrace, and empower your customer. And you do that by giving your knowledge away. So whenever you're reading an article about something that inspires and educates you, and I'm just going to go ahead and just type in the word sales blogs, and I'm going to essentially get a list of the best sales blogs, and I can then go in and identify a particular one that might be interesting, and I can go ahead and take that blog and start sharing articles. There's ways to systematize this whole process of identifying great content from great influencers and beginning to share that content across your brand and ideally your team members' brands too, because it's not just, you shouldn't just be sharing from your company brand, you should be sharing across all of your different team members' brands and your company brands so that you can then humanize your brand and help your team members build their brand. Because I believe a company brand is built on the promises it makes and the experiences that it delivers. And if you can align the promises you make to the experiences that you deliver, you can create an incredible company. And a lot of the experience you deliver is coming from your customer facing business team members. And so in this particular instance, what I'd do is I'd hashtag that particular person, or I'd attribute that person's name, and I'd hashtag the category, and then I'd go ahead and queue that up. And so what happens is that content gets queued up on those identities, and then if you think about what that content is, it's like fishing lures outside of the back of your boat. There's digital fish swimming around your business on a daily basis, and all you got to do is begin to share that content on a regular basis from all those different identities. And then what happens is, as you share that content, you're going to get bites on this content. And then what you need to do is you need to reel that in. And that's where Nimble really comes in, because Nimble makes it super easy to be able to reel those conversations and relationships in. I truly believe that the contacts you're connecting to, let's find contacts you're connecting to, the conversations you're having, and the activities that you're driving from those conversations are the foundation of your business, which means we all live in Outlook, Address Book, or Google Contacts. For most of us today, it really is Office 365 or Google Apps for Work. The problem is that these tools aren't really great contact tools because they don't link email, calendar, and social to contacts, and you have to go to them to use them. And that's why we built Nimble, because it unifies the messages, the activities, and the social signals that you and the team are deriving. And then if anybody ever talks about you, we automatically build this beautiful, rich record for them and link that to that record so that you always have a record that's up to date. So when you look at a record in Nimble, Nimble will automatically have synchronized every single conversation that you and the team have had on email, calendar, and social. We'll automatically map the identity on that person and bring down the data, and then build social cards on that data so that you always have an up-to-date database. Because I believe the reason they call it Salesforce, you have to force salespeople to use it. Nobody in their right mind would type data in a CRM if they weren't forced to do it. And the life cycle of a lead in a typical business today is you drive the eyeballs to your website. Ideally, you're driving the eyeballs by inspiring and educating rather than talking about your products. But either way, you drive the eyeball to your website. Once they go to your website and fill out that form, you should do something with it. So most people take that name and put it into our market automation system. That could be Marketo, it could be MailChimp, or something in between. Once that lead is nurtured and lead qualified, you put it in the CRM and you tell your sales reps to go get them. That sales rep is then delivered to a dead database, a CRM, that they have to go and Google who that person is. And most people stop at their LinkedIn resume, which is really just one dimension of who I am. My LinkedIn resume isn't John Ferrara. John Ferrara is a collection of information that crosses multiple different platforms. And I think you'll learn more about John Ferrara, specifically my 5Fs, my passions around family, friends, food, fun, and frolicking, by looking at my Instagram posts, because I think a picture tells a million words. And so don't stop there. Look at my Facebook, look at my angel list, look at my LinkedIn, look at my Twitter. And by looking at all these different places, you're going to get an understanding of who I am, and then begin to add value to my conversation. Share, comment, engage with me. Instead of sending me a LinkedIn invite the first second you connect with me, that's a cold call. What you should be doing is you should be adding value to my conversation by walking to my digital footprint, and then you won't even have to cold call me. I'll reach out to you. I'll build a relationship with you because I'll see you in my stream, and then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and connect with you by reaching out and adding you to my database, because that's what Nimble is so good at. Nimble is really good at taking a conversation, a connection, and turning it into a living and breathing record that you could then go ahead and have the complete background and the history of conversations and be able to walk in their footprint and begin to add value to their conversation. And that's what Nimble is really designed to do. For individual or company, we can help you do simple market automation. We can help you do simple CRM. We can help you do sales intelligence. What is sales intelligence? Well, before you ever engage with a company, I think it's your job to understand who they are and what their business is about. And most people go and Google that person to know who they are and what their business is about. Where's my Google page? Here it is. And what Nimble does is Nimble allows you to nimble them. And so if I go to a particular company's website, and I'm just going to pick on a company like IBM, and I want to know who IBM's about, I just nimble them. Nimble gives me the business information I need to know. Nimble tells me the people I know at the company, and then I can be effective at engaging. So Nimble's the first relationship platform that unifies social, sales, and marketing, including business intelligence and the ability to outreach, because you shouldn't be using market automation to outreach to people because it's going to look like this Infusionsoft email, which is like any other market automation email. Essentially, it blasts people with impersonal emails. What you should be doing is reaching out with emails that come from your email to their email so that it looks like you actually wrote it, gives you signals that opens and clicks, so you can then go ahead and engage effectively. And so today, that means you need to buy market automation, CRM, sales intelligence, and sales enablement at a minimum. If you were to buy all those programs, it's going to cost you $50 to $150 per user per month. That means it costs you $300 to $500 per month per rep in order to manage the lead cycle in your business and help you grow. I think it's too much. I think it's too costly. I think it's too complex. And that's why we built Nimble, which is the evolution of CRM, blending social sales and marketing. We're putting the R back in CRM because today your CRM systems that you're using are really about reporting. They're really about management, and you work for them. They don't work for you. You work for them by looking things up and go log in them and then go and engaging wherever you can and log in that. I believe that you shouldn't work for your CRM. It should work for you by building itself and then enable you to work with it wherever you're working. So if I'm inside of a LinkedIn stream and I want to know who somebody is, all I have to do is nimble them by hovering on their name. I can get complete information on that person. I could use it for prospecting wherever I am. So if I'm in a business article and I want to know who Kathleen is, I nimble her, and it works everywhere you work. And I think this is the future of the way that will work. What do you think, Ross?
Well, that's one of the key things why I love Nimble, is the smart app that you're showing here. You're in the browser, you're actually in Forbes magazine, and there you are. You can see that Kathleen is actually already in your database, but you can see more about her if you want to, and you can add somebody. You can send a message to her directly from there. You don't have to go to the CRM to do that, and it's saving time, but you're seeing the person there. That's because you don't want to have to find them, then take their address and things like that. You want to get the basic information straight away, and you've gone through it so fast because it's such a powerful tool to be able to see them in that different area. And it is like, that's how I've got to know you over time.
You know, the good news is that even though I went through it fast, be assured to know that Nimble is the #1 rated CRM in value, satisfaction, and ROI in the world today. We're not only #1 in satisfaction, but we're a market leader in CRM, sales intelligence, and sales enablement, and we'll soon be rolling out a market automation add-on into the platform. And so I think that if you're a business person and you have a CRM today, don't worry about it, because Nimble actually works with your existing social sales or marketing systems. But if you don't have a system today, Nimble can be your unified social sales and marketing platform. What I'd love to do, Ross, is open it up for questions and see if we have any questions from the audience. So now's the time to ask a question. If you want us to cover anything that we haven't delivered yet. In the meantime, while they do that, I'm just going to show off our mobile app, because I'm super excited about a new addition that we did to the mobile. This is my Nimble mobile app. I'm just right now. So here's the Nimble app. And what I love about the Nimble app is essentially it puts my contacts in the palm of my hand. I can take them with me everywhere I go. What it does is essentially gives me the digital dossier about who they are, where they're from, where they work, what they're influential in, etc. I'm able to walk in the digital footprint, check the status of our connection, and more importantly is Nimble will read my calendar and automatically build an agenda for anybody we're meeting with. So here I have a meeting with these gentlemen. Nimble automatically builds a live profile for anybody I'm meeting with. That way I'm prepared before the meeting. It then gives me notifications after the meeting to follow up and follow through. I could schedule the follow-up things that I need to do. And with the Nimble system, we've added a new capability now where you could actually manage your deals within the platform. And so here's a deal within Nimble. I can go ahead and edit it. I can create it. I can modify it. And all that is being operated with one big fat thumb in the palm of my hand. And so today, when you go to your calendar, you don't really see anything about the people you're meeting with. You go into here and you see you have this meeting here with these people, and you don't even know who these people are. And if I go to an email, I can't see the history of conversation. If I go to the calendar event or the contact record, I can't see the context. And I think that that's what we need as human beings. We need a CRM that works for us by building itself and then works with us wherever we're working. So it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're inside of Office 365, if you're inside of Gmail, it doesn't matter where you're working. Nimble's always there having your back, giving you the context and insights you need to be effective at reaching out, staying top of mind, and converting relationships into measurable business outcomes. I see a question here. Ross, do you assist in setting up Nimble and integrating with our existing systems? That's coming from Steve Parr.
Yeah, we do that. We've got some packages that we can do, and the best part about it is that I'll even offer some guarantees right at the beginning. If you're doing a free trial, I put some guarantees there so to get it going. But one thing I've always found over time, if I don't use that trial assistance, you spend a whole lot of time fluffing around learning the system rather than spending a little bit of time to get somebody to show you how quickly to take advantage of it, and it makes so much more effective use of your time.
Great. Well, do you have any type of call to offer for the audience today?
Yes, there should be. There it is, right there. What a surprise! And the first part, like we've been talking, I don't know where people are at that are on the webinar today. So the one thing I'd like them to do, if they'd like it, I've prepared a 40-page e-guide on customer relationship management. What's in it for you? And also, I'm be delighted to have a free 30-minute phone call with them at a time convenient to them and me. I don't do things too much at 1 o'clock in the morning, about social selling, Nimble or CRM, and you can use that link there, and maybe if Joseph could put it into the chat box, but it's pretty straightforward, crmeguide.redbackswebs.com.au, and you can download the e-guide and make an appointment. And you're welcome to do that at any time, no charge, no obligation. Just have a chat, and we can figure out what it is that's important to you, and if I can help you, fantastic. In that 30 minutes, if we need to take it further, we'll identify that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Ross, do you have any parting thoughts for our audience today?
My real thought goes back to it. It's about process and thinking about showing customers the love. And when I talk about customers, I'm talking about your prospects. Anybody in your network that you contact with, build an authentic relationship with them. Use the technology that's available to you. Great if you use Nimble, but if you're using another system, that's fantastic. But use it to make an authentic, trusted relationship, and don't think it's about selling. They will buy from you, and like John says, show people how to fish, and you will do a far better. You'll be far more rewarded for it. From that. So thank you everybody for turning up today and being online. I do appreciate that you've taken time out of your life, your day to listen to us. And I hope you've got some value out of that. There were 3 ways there that you could do it. So thank you very much. And John, thank you, and to Joseph and Michaela for helping us out in the background.
You bet, Ross. And I want to let the audience know if they want to learn more in the future, Nimble delivers a weekly webinar that you can learn more about our platform. We go much more in depth into the platform itself every Wednesday, and then we have Q&As every day at 9 o'clock. And don't worry about it if you are sleeping in that time because it's a different time zone for you. If you sign up for our Nimble webinars, the weekly one on Wednesdays, we'll give you a copy of the recording. And so I encourage you to do that. And then make sure you follow us on social media, on Nimble Twitter handle as well as my own, because we would love to learn more about you and how we might be able to help you achieve your passion, plan, and purpose in life. And as Ross said, we hope that passion is helping other people grow. Thank you so much for attending. Good luck and good selling.
Bye, everyone.